The Gambia positioned itself better as cases of the coronavirus confirmed in Senegal. In Nigeria, institutions monitor cases of the coronavirus with a view to curb its spreading. The trial of the MH17 plane shooting begins at the International Court of Justice. This and more coming on the world today. Hello, it is 1700 GMT here in our studios in Banjul. You're watching The World Today on Africa TV, and I am Amadou Kante, and now the news in detail. In recognition of his courageous pursuit of justice, Gambia's Attorney General and Minister of Justice has been praised by the United States Council for Muslim Organization for taking on the Myanmar civil ruler on the crimes of genocide against the Rohingya. The International Court of Justice made a unanimous ruling in January that the Republic of the Union of Myanmar shall, in accordance with its obligations under the Genocide Convention, take all measures to prevent the commission of all acts within the scope of the Convention. The campaign to prevent killing members of the Rohingya and their physical destruction are reason for the award to Abubakar Tambedu. Julden Jai has more details of that in this report.
The Gambian Minister of Justice has received a prestigious award from the United States Council for Muslim Organization in recognition of his efforts to protect the Rohingya Muslim minority from genocide. The organization on Friday described Abubakar Ba Tambedu as courageous in pursuit of justice to save the Rohingya ethnicity minority at the International Court of Justice. The Attorney General of the West African state led a team of judicial experts in the case against the Myanmar for the crimes in Rohingya state calculated to ethnic cleansing. In January this year, the principal judicial organ of the United Nations delivered its order on the request for the indication of provisional measures submitted by the Gambia on the application of the Genocide Convention. By this ruling, Myanmar is required to submit a report to the court by next month to show level of compliance to the decision made by the world's largest court. Gambia filed its application for justice in November 2019 to institute a proceeding against the Republic of the Union of Myanmar on alleged violations of the UN Genocide Convention.
So all that the Gambia asks is that you tell Myanmar to stop these senseless killings, to stop these acts of barbarity and brutality that have shocked
Mike 1 2 Mike
our collective conscience, to stop this genocide of its own people.
In a letter in respect of the award, the United States Council for Muslims Organization said the historic actions at The Hague brought Myanmar civilian leader, State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi, to the International Court of Justice to account for her country's systematic and brutal mass killings, arson and rape against its defenseless, helpless Rohingya victims. Arguing that presentation at the bar of the High Court exposed this once globally lauded Nobel Peace Prize laureate as monger of bloodshed and perpetrator of horrific brutality against the innocent Rohingya. For iAfrica News, I am Julden Jai.
From the report there by our very own Julden Jai, next we head to the North Africa, where Egypt's oldest pyramid is back on operation after 14 years of restoration, as officials say that they are keen in maintaining one of the global heritage of all time. The 60 meters high and 3 kilometers long Apitharch was built for the ruler of ancient Egypt, King George, who together with his family was later on buried inside. Let's have more details of that in this report.
Egypt has been recently seeing numerous inaugurations for archaeological sites. This celebration, however, is special. For the last 14 years, Egypt spent millions of dollars to restore Djoser Pyramid, the first stone pyramid built in ancient Egypt and the world.
We consider the restoration and rehabilitation of our heritage is one of those mega projects that maybe it comes on the top of the list of our priorities. So we are very proud this is Egyptian legacy, but we know very well it's a world and global heritage that we are very keen to maintain it for everybody in this globe.
Built in 2730 BC, this 4,750 years old structure has been only restored twice. The first was in 600 BC, and it hasn't been touched till now.
In 1992, the earthquake in Egypt here, it's happened, and get this, the roof and the ceiling get down and cover all the sarcophagus down. So in our project, we start to work inside the pyramid first. First, to remove all this stone outside and remove all the dusty outside, and beginning to make restoration to the ceiling by anchors. It's called anchors. More than 150 anchors in the ceiling to support the ceiling.
The pyramid is composed of 6 main steps. It's 60 meters high. Passages underground stretch to about 3 kilometers in length. The complexity of the structure makes experts wonder how ancient Egyptians have built it without modern technology.
What you see is not all the pyramid. This is just the above the ground part. The underground section of the pyramid is some sort of an architectural miracle. If we give a little thought, we get confused. How could the ancient Egyptians build that architecture all those years ago?
The pyramid was constructed for King Djoser, the ruler of ancient Egypt in the 3rd dynasty. He and his family are all buried inside. After years of planning and implementation, Djoser Pyramid is finally fully restored, and visitors coming to this magnificent site can take a tour around the pyramid and walk inside the oldest grand stone structure known to mankind.
And from that report, of course, on the North African country of Egypt, we come back home and report on another road inauguration, because the Sukuta Jambanjeri Highway connected Serekunda to the Cambos through the north and south has been inaugurated by President Adama Barrow this weekend. The 13-kilometer highway project, funded by the African Development Bank and the Gambia government, consumed more than $25 million to complete within 2 years. The road simplifies business transaction between the center and the satellite towns after decades of hardships in the movement of goods and services. Let's have more details of that in this report. After last week's inauguration of his government development projects in the Upper and Central River regions, President Barrow over the weekend launched the Sukuta Jambanjeli Road. Constructed at the tune of over $25 million, the 13-kilometer roads extend the Westfield Highway through the villages of Jabang, Latria and Jambur. At Jambanjeli, the road creates a roundabout to pave way to either Katong via Sanyang or Brikama, the commercial capital of West Coast. Beginning at the traffic highlands at the Coastal Road, some 20 kilometers from the capital Banjul, the highway serves a good option to the Banjul-Brikama Highway for commuters and the business industry. The people of Combo North and South, who have been locked in cages of the West Coast region, welcome the completion of the magnificent road project after many years of unbearable road conditions. Presiding over the event, President Barrow said the road is a priority in his government development plan.
The completion of the Sukuta to Jambanjeli Road is therefore an important achievement toward the realization of the goals of the National Development Plan. Also, it contributes to achieving other commitments as envisaged in the Sustainable Development Goals and the Africa Union AU Agenda 2063. Giving priority to communications and infrastructure connectivity across Africa.
The road is a 2-lane dual carriageway that runs from Sukuta through Jabang, Latria and Jambu to Jambanjeli, where it narrows into a single lane with street light, making it one of the most modern roads in the Gambia. Reporting for Africa News, I am Amadou Kante. And from that report, we of course move on to talk on the court matters. Now, as we shift attention on the trial at the District Court of The Hague, we beg your pardon for the disturbing but factual images on the story background. The case against 4 suspects for the downing of Malaysia Airlines flight MH17 over eastern Ukraine in 2014 began at the District Court of The Hague. It was reported that the MH17 was shot down by the Buk missile while flying over the conflict-hit area of Ukraine. The plane was en route to Kuala Lumpur from Amsterdam with 298 people on board, comprising 43 Malaysians, 193 Dutch nationals and 27 Australians. 3 accused Russians and 1 Ukraine are facing charges murder of all 290 victims on board the MH17 flight. The suspects are being prosecuted on the basis of the investigations conducted jointly by judicial authorities from Australia, Belgium, Ukraine and Malaysia, and the Netherlands for bringing down the airplane. And from that development, we will now take a break and come back shortly with the remaining of the stories. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching The World Today on Africa TV, and now to the rest of the stories. Now, Global Hearts of Medical Mission, a non-governmental organization, has called on the anti-crime unit of the Gambia Police Force to vacate the premises owned by the organizations in the Bijilo. In a press release to Africa TV, the organization alleged that the law enforcement body took over the place from the then Green Boys under former president who had illegally occupied the place. In September 2019, the Kanifing Magistrates Court ruled in favor of the organization, providing them with a right of possession, but 5 months later, Global Home is yet to regain possession of the property. By this situation, the medical director of Global Home, Dr. Gabu Mendy, commented that the law and the constitution are being violated by the very institution tasked with duty to uphold it. Global Home demands possession of its property in order to resume plans for the construction of a medical center and a health education complex for the people of the Gambia. The US-based organization began operations in providing medical care to different communities in the 90s through mobile clinics. It has an annual record of 5,000 patients in area of vision, dental, and community care, mainly through a local health center in Bijilo. And from that development, next we head to Kenya, because pastoralists in Kenya have raised concerns over threats of locust invasion affecting the quality of lives in different parts of the country. The Kenyan government has taken measures to control the situation by providing pesticide spraying pumps, but its sustainability has become a challenge. United Nations Food Agency FAO warned that if immediate action is not taken, the locusts would increase to take over all plantations. Let's have more of that in this report.
In Kenya's arid Turkana region, pastoralism is a way of life and a major source of income. But pastoralists like Epur Lorot now watch in frustration as locust swarms compete with his livestock over grazeland.
I had 80 goats and sheep, but at the moment I am now remaining with only 50. After the locusts arrived, I have lost 30 goats. This is because after the locusts arrived, they ate a lot of our animal feeds. If the locusts land on the vegetation, they are clearing everything, leaving nothing for our goats. This locust condition is also affecting us as pastoralists. Like now, our livestock feed has gone down. We will have no goats and no money soon. Our children cannot grow well when we don't have food to feed them if our goats die.
The Food and Agriculture Organization warns that if not kept in check, locust numbers will increase with every breeding cycle.
The conditions are now conducive for the survival of the eggs and hatching. So the climate is now very ideal for them to multiply. And the threat is real and a big one if nothing is done. You see, this is the right stage of control. And any action at this time would be more appropriate rather than postponing intervention at a later date.
Surveillance is a crucial component to control the desert locust invasion, but that alone is not enough. The Kenyan government has allocated pesticide spraying pumps, but it's been a challenge to satisfy demand.
We have had one aerial aircraft sent to Turkana, but it has been here for only 4 days, and it ran short of fuel, it ran short of the chemical, and even is going for service.
All 7 sub-counties of Turkana have been invaded by locusts, and many are still waiting for assistance, which might not come in the short term.
From that report in Kenya, we of course report again on the COVID-19 because with the coronavirus, more than 3,000 people have died so far, but over 62,000 people have successfully been treated and discharged. The World Health Organization advised that the spread of the disease could increase if medical measures are not applied. Although China, where the disease emanated, and other countries are demonstrating that spread of the virus could be controlled. Amidanso has more details of that in this report.
As of this weekend, the global number of confirmed cases of coronavirus was more than 100,000, according to the World Health Organization. The outbreak of coronavirus disease, also known as COVID-19, was first reported from Wuhan, China, on 31st December 2019. Since then, the disease has accounted for the deaths of more than 3,000 people, with more than 62,000 cases treated successfully worldwide. In West Africa, the confirmation of first cases of coronavirus in neighboring Senegal brought along fear for Gambians, but the Ministry of Health said the detentions didn't warrant the closure of borders. The number of cases in Senegal amounting to 4 now means that the Gambia is obliged like never before to put in place solid mechanism in control of movement of people in and out of the country. This saw the installation of border checkpoints through which health workers screen people entering the Gambia from Senegal on a 24-hour basis. Although a number of suspected cases have been subjected by the Health Ministry, the Gambia remains safe. China, where the disease originated, and other countries are demonstrating that spread of the virus can be slowed and reduced through the use of universally applicable actions, says the World Health Governing Body. This includes working across societies to identify and provide medical care to people who are sick, warning that allowing controlled spread should not be a choice of any government, as it will harm not only the citizens of the country but affect other countries as well. For iAfrica TV News, I am Amidanso.
And from that report there by Amit Danso, we're still going to stay with the matters of coronavirus, but this time in Nigeria, because Nigerian institutions are in the front line to create awareness of the spreading coronavirus after cases of the deadly diseases were announced in the country. Schools and churches are taking precautionary measures, testing people going in and out of their premises as preventive measures. Let's have more details of that in this report.
It's a new norm across most schools in Lagos, especially the private ones. The last time we saw anything like this was in the wake of the outbreak of the Ebola virus in the city in 2014. But with the announcement of Nigeria's first COVID-19 case, the practice is back. One after the other, students of this school are screened with a temperature scanner and given hand sanitizers to apply before they are allowed into the school premises. The school adopted these safety measures just a day after health authorities confirmed an Italian national who was visiting the city on a business trip had been diagnosed with COVID-19.
We have wash hand basins installed all over the compound, even our car park, as you can see. We screen every visitor, including our students, teachers, staff, everybody is screened. We have also been lecturing our students. They are being tutored on hygiene. Every morning we talk to them on how to take precautionary measure against all this. They wash their hands and all of that. We have flyers for them too.
We have also educated the students on the need to distance themselves from other students who are coughing or who are exhibiting any sign of upper respiratory tract infections like sneezing, coughing, like I said. So if any of those things is happening to the students, you are expected to quickly come to the school clinic and see the doctor.
As it is with schools, so it is with churches. Hand sanitizers are now placed at the entrance of some churches, like this Catholic church. Worshippers are advised to use them before stepping into the church. As for the measures to curtail any spread of the virus, the Bishop of the Catholic Church in Lagos has since announced the suspension of certain church rites, among them the traditional shaking of hands during church service.
He asked us to remove all holy water containers, fonts, to remove water from them so that people don't use it as a public thing. Because normally, if you are coming into the church, you dip your hand in the holy water font and make the sign of the cross. Communion that is normally given to the people through their mouth is now received on the palm. The Stations of the Cross we normally have twice in a week during Lent. That's Wednesdays and Fridays. He has decided to make it once.
The actions of these institutions have helped in raising the level of awareness of COVID-19 in the city. On its part, the government is stepping up its multimedia campaign to raise the level of awareness across the country, especially in rural areas where health infrastructure are at their weakest.
Meanwhile, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control says there's been no new confirmed case of COVID-19 in the country, but that it is investigating 18 suspected cases. As for the Italian national who's been treated at an isolation facility here in Lagos, the NCDC says he's showing great signs of improvement, asking people to be calm and not to panic at all.
Well, institutions there on a line to, of course, fight or to stop the spread or control, of course, the coronavirus or COVID-19. From that report there in Nigeria, we'll, of course, certainly bring this news bulletin to an end. And, of course, thank you very much for the pleasure of your company. But for more on these stories and others, you can also log on our website on iafrica.tv. I am Amadou Kante, and bye for now.